Everybody got one. Okay, it's cute. All right. We all here? Everybody's here? Everybody's here? Okay. Good morning. I'd like to call the meeting of the Wayne County Commission to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
The board is now open for roll call. Commissioner Palomero is excused.
It's hard to hit sometimes.
You have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Vice Chair Palomero has arrived. Next item, please.
Invocation.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce Commissioner Martha Scott to introduce our invocator for this morning. Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's indeed an honor to be here this morning, and we just thank God for the opportunity for us to be here. And I have with me a wonderful pastor in my district, and I'm going to talk about the pastor, the preacher, and the man. Pastor David L. Jefferson was born in New Iberia, Louisiana, and as a child, his family moved to Michigan and settled in Highland Park. He joined and has been a long-term member of the Third New Hope Baptist Church. The pastor, Jeremiah 3:15, and I will give you pastors according to the mine heart, which shall feed you. On December the 9th, 2006, Peace Baptist Church called Reverend David L. Jefferson to lead the congregation. And on December the 31st, 2006, he preached his first pastoral message entitled, Building on a Rock. Since then, Pastor Jefferson has been engaged in his mission to nurture, cultivate, and lead the Peace Baptist family in reaching their fullest potentials. Holistic approach to church ministry to focus on children, adolescents, young adults, and senior adults, and has assigned as the motto and aspiration for our Church of Peace Baptist, the church where the spirit of love abide. Now, the preacher, Romans 1:16, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation. At age 16, he was ordained a deacon, licensed to preach the gospel at 18, and was ordained in 1991. He served his home church, Third New Hope, faithfully in various areas of ministry. For pastor, preaching is the foundation, reinforcement, and the apex of ministry, and he keeps it Christ-centered and spirit-filled. His preaching goal is to engage and challenge and intellect and impact all lifestyles. Over the years, many lives have been transformed by his preaching, teaching, and life. His labors have all served to point the lost to Jesus, strengthen the body of Christ, to equip the people of God, to embrace ministry relevant to his present age. He continuously requests our prayers as he endeavors to do closely and follow Lord to lead us in the 21st century ministry. Now, the man, Psalms 1:1-3. Blessed is the man, he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. In 1985, He was joined in matrimony to his wife, Roxanne. They are the proud parents of two fine sons, Kyle and David II, and two wonderful grandsons, Kyle II and Camden David. He graduated of Highland Park Community High School and has endeavored to further his education by obtaining his Diploma of Theology, Black Church Studies, from Heritage Center for African American Religious Studies, Ashland Theological Seminary, and his Master of Arts in Pastoral Ministry from Ecumenical Theological Seminary. He has served in Congress, the National Baptist Convention, as instructor for the National, State, and Local Convention, and Congress on the Christian Education, and is a member and past president of the Kingdom Building Pastors and People's International Conference. Pastor is a fishing enthusiast and loves jigsaw puzzles and driving. Now I introduce you to Pastor David L. Jefferson.
All right, Dr. Jefferson.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Scott, and to all of you, this fine body who allowed me to come and pray this morning. So let's pray. To the only wise God, creator, ruler of the universe, our Father, as we come today, we come acknowledging this is a day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. We thank you at this time for allowing us the privilege to stand in your stead as we look over our county and we begin to make decisions that will impact the lives of everyone that is in it. God, we stand here recognizing that our understanding is limited, but yours is infinite. We understand, Father, that we only know in part, but you know all. So as we stand here today and we consider, I pray that you would get into our minds, that you would cause us to think completely, that you would cause us to feel from our hearts, and that you would cause us to find your way for our county. And as we do this, Lord, we know that your will be done. And when your will is done, all of us will be blessed by it. Bless each and every one that is involved in this process of decision-making that will make lives better. And then, God, as we get ready to leave this place, I pray that you cover each and every one of us. Cover us, our households, everything under our tent, everything connected to us, and everything associated with us, that we would be careful to give you the praise, the honor, and the glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. Thank you. Next item, please.
Reading, correcting, and approval of the journal.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Who, me?
Motion carries.
All right. Next item, please.
Report from the chair.
Thank you. A couple of things. One, after our meeting today, since we all look so lovely in red, we'll take a group picture recognizing one of the resolutions that we have with us today for Women's Health Month. Also, on Saturday is Commissioner Glenn Anderson's birthday. Was acknowledged him with a big round of applause right now for his birthday. And I will remind everyone to please keep your microphone off until you speak. The cameras jerk when the microphones are on, so please keep your microphones off until you speak. Thank you. Next item, please.
Unfinished business, there is none listed. We are on offering of all petitions, ordinances, resolutions, and presentations. There is one item listed, a resolution by Commissioner Ware acknowledging February 2020 as American Heart Month and February 7th, 2020 as National Wear Red Day, and urging all individuals to recognize the importance of the efforts to increase survival rates from cardiac arrest and display their support for all men and women in their fight against heart disease by wearing red.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware.
Thank you. Move approval?
Support.
Moved and supported. Discussion, Vice Chair Ware.
Yes, I want to thank everyone, first of all, for wearing red today. We look very nice. This is a very important issue, and every February I work with I work out throughout the year. That's a group that I volunteer with, the American Heart Association. And so I really push it extra hard in the month of February. So thank you, everyone.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Dobb.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Would you open the resolution to co-sponsors?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Okay, and let us know when the board is ready for co-sponsors.
The board is now open for co-sponsors. Co-sponsors duly noted.
Thank you. Next item, please.
We are on reports from committees. Report A is from the Committee on Economic Development. There are 5 items listed.
Commissioner Hayes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'd like to move item 1 to 4 to receive and file, item 5 for approval.
Support.
Thank you. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion on the Economic Development Report? Commissioner Killeen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm on item 5 here, where we're contracting with Wade Trim to conduct an analysis of impediments to fair housing choice. I'm not exactly clear what that study's going to do, because there's also talk about money for low and moderate income in 34 participating jurisdictions. So what's the upshot of this study? And then what are we going to be using it for?
Mr. Carroll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Terry Carroll, Community Development. This is a requirement of the Community Development Block Grant Program that we put into place a study of the impediments to fair housing throughout our 43, or actually this would be 38 member communities. It is a very precise format that we need to follow, and this, for the first year, is one that we will also share the results with our consortium partners, Livonia, Taylor, Lincoln Park, and Dearborn, so that they can then use that information to apply for their funds.
Okay, thank you. This is something new since we kind of redefined or whatever our CBGG program. This is something we haven't done in the past?
This has been a regulatory requirement for the last 12 years.
Okay.
We have been sliding on one that we did in 2011.
No, that's okay. It gives me the context. Thank you.
All set, Commissioner? Yes? Lights off after speaking, right? Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.
We are on Report B from the Committee on Public Services. There are 13 items listed on pages 3 through 6 of the agenda.
Commissioner Marecki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval for items 1 through 13.
Moved and supported for the Public Services Report. Any discussion? Commissioner Webb?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to ask the chair of the committee if I could be the maker of motions of items 2 and 3. Thank you.
Commissioner Killeen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Starting with item 5, we have like 6 items here with the Western Townships Utilities Authority. And as I read through the 6, they're all, to me, they're all like different pieces of a puzzle. Can somebody kind of say overall, from an overall viewpoint, not exactly for each one of these 6, but what's happening with this? Are we transferring a system? What's the upshot of these 6 individual pieces making up a whole? Yeah, you're on now.
Oh, there we go. Good morning. Jim Jernigan, Assistant Corporation Counsel.
Good morning, Elmika Steele, Department of Public Services.
So this is essentially, you hit it on the head, a package of contracts that provides for the Wautua communities to remove themselves, which they've actually already done, from the Rouge Valley system. They, in 2017, started using the Ypsilanti system for their waste. As a component of that departure, though, they are still obligated to pay their component of the capital improvements.
So this kind of unsnarls the whatever legal things are involved in them going with Washtenaw County or whatever.
They actually, the Wautua communities, they had already historically been splitting flows.
Right.
They were sending
Okay.
part of their flows to the Ypsilanti system and then part to the Rouge Valley system. So they're just simply deciding now to send 100% of their flows to the Ypsilanti system. However, when they were a customer in the Rouge Valley system, there were capital improvements.
Right.
They still have to pay their portion of the debt during the time that they were,
Yeah.
the remaining portion, the remaining
This just
balance.
cleans up all the trailing items
Correct. And then
for
there's some
shifting all of
areas
their
that
flow.
they're-
Okay,
correct, Yep,
that helps, thanks.
okay.
Additional questions on the Public Services Report? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Hearing no additional questions or comments, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.
We are on Report C from the Committee on Ways and Means. There are 14 items listed on pages 6 through 8 of the agenda.
Commissioner Varga?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the entire Committee on Ways and Means report.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion on the items for the Ways and Means report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.
We are on Report D from the Committee on Health and Human Services. There are 2 items listed on pages 8 and 9 of the agenda.
Commissioner Killeen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee has 2 items today. They're both related to foster care in the county and receiving grants for that program. The committee recommends both for approval, and I move them.
Moved and supported by, I think that was Commissioner Anderson. Any discussion on those 2 items for Health and Human Services? Please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
We're on Report E from the Committee on Audit. There's 1 item listed.
Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would move 1 item to receive and file.
Moved and supported. Any discussion on the item from the Audit Committee? Commissioner Killeen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to remind members that a few days ago, we all received an email from the Auditor General who's putting together their work plan for next year and is soliciting all of our ideas for if anybody has an audit that they would like to pursue. So I just remind people to respond to that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Basham.
And to that point, then we need to hire more auditors also. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional? Commissioner Anderson.
I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention, too, that our auditor does a fantastic job for us, but this particular report has got some good information. I know in the time that I've been here, the short time that I've been here, I've ran into some issues with that department, and I believe this points to the fact there was some serious issues, and they've got a plan of correction that I hopefully will be put in place and will improve the service of that department. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion on the audit report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.
We are on Report F from the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security. There is one item listed.
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have one item for approval, and it's simply to extend the time necessary to spend some funds in the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. So I move approval.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.
We are on Report G from the Committee on Government Operations. There are 5 items listed on pages 9 and 10 of the agenda.
Thank you. Commissioner Webb.
Madam Chair, is it proper form that the vice chair who stood in for me move the agenda?
Absolutely. Commissioner Clean.
Madam Chair, the first 3 items are receive and file, and 4 and 5 are for your approval, so move all 5 items.
Is there support? Support. Moved and supported. Any discussion on the Committee on Government Operations? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Great. Next item, please.
We are on page 10 of the agenda, upcoming committee and task force meetings.
Everyone, please note the committee meetings for next week. Also note, as I've mentioned several times before, Committee of the Whole on Thursday, February 13th at 10 a.m. There will be several items for discussion on that agenda. So please make your schedules accordingly. Next item.
We are on page 11 of the agenda, public comments.
Do you have any cards, Madam Clerk?
No cards.
Anyone from the public wishing to address the Wayne County Commission? Anyone from the public wishing to address the Wayne County Commission? Any public comments today? All right, hearing none, next item.
We are on new business. There are 3 items listed. The first item is requesting commission approval of a retroactive settlement agreement and limited release in the amount of $743,214.37 between the Charter County of Wayne and Z Contractors.
Okay, this was discussed in Public Services, correct, Commissioner Marecki? Is there someone from the administration who would like to discuss this item?
Good morning. Again, Jim Jernigan, Assistant Corporation Counsel.
Good morning. Noah Mullet from Wayne County DPS.
This is a settlement agreement related to the Henry Ford Fishway damage that was done in the spring of 2019. In order to repair the damage that was done at that time, the contractor on site made original demands of in excess of $1 million. The Department of Department of Public Services via its Environmental Services Group and the engineer on site ultimately agreed to a number of $800,000, of which $743,214.37 has yet to be paid. That is the amount of the settlement agreement and limited release.
Any questions, Commissioner Marecki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to clarify, this started, I think, in Public Services, but it was actually discussed in Government Ops last week.
Government Ops, okay,
Just so
thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Killeen.
Yeah, I'm going to move this for approval. I appreciate you coming to GovOps to give a heads up on this, knowing that it would come directly to the agenda, but to give the committee a full view of what this is. So I move its approval, Madam Chair.
There's support? Moved and supported. Any further discussion on this item? Commissioner Baidoon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to say that this is, since in my district, this is welcome news that finally that this work will be done, and looking forward to a very green area and beautiful addition to the area behind the Henry Ford Mansion, and we can't wait.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Baker McCormick? You okay? Any further discussion on item 1? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next item.
Item number 2, a resolution by Commissioner Bell to reappoint Wayne County Commissioner Irma Clark Coleman to the Wayne County Land Bank Corporation Board.
Considered read.
Move approval.
Support.
Been moved and here's support.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion on item 2? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner Coleman, for continuing to serve on the Wayne County Land Bank. Next item.
Item number 3, a resolution by Commissioner Bell to appoint Wayne County Commissioner Monique Baker McCormick to the Detroit-Wayne County Port Authority.
Move approval.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion on this item? Commissioner Anderson.
Madam Chair, I just wondered if you could tell us who is this replacing?
The appointment for former Commissioner Shannon Price expired in September. He wanted to stay on to kind of get some things in place there. They're in a search for a new executive director, and he wanted to be there to handle that, and that is almost concluded. So it will be to replace Shannon Price.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional discussion on this item? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
We are on testimonial resolutions and certificates of appreciation. There are 17 items listed on pages 11 through 13 of the agenda.
There a
Move
motion?
approval.
Support.
Moved and supported for the items under testimonial and resolutions. Any discussion on these items? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Next item, please.
We are on page 14 of the agenda, memoriams. There are 9 names listed.
Okay. Any, Commissioner Webb?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's very unfortunate that I have to add a name of a young man to this list. And I'm try not to get choked up when I even say it, but City Councilwoman from Dearborn Heights, Lisa Hicks Clayton, lost her son. He's a young man. He was a Afghanistan war hero, current firefighter, Army Airborne. His name is Damon Clayton, and he passed away a few days ago. His services are at Santu and Son Funeral Home this coming Sunday, the 9th, from, I believe it's from 1 to 9. I can verify that, but so I just ask that all of you pray for her, because that's a tough one, and keep her family, close in your heart and your thoughts, is they go through this very difficult time. And I just want to send a shout out to our former Director of Veterans Affairs, Troy Sheeline, who I reached out to when I heard this news, and he called folks that helped her with funeral expenses, and he was just did an outstanding job of having her back in this time of need. So being that he was a former county employee and still a dear friend of mine, I just knew Lisa Hicks Clayton and had met her son. So I reached out to him, and he was a big help to them. So if you are so inclined and in the area and the councilwoman, she's also a district representative for Senator Betty Jean Alexander, so you might even know her in that role. But I'm sure she would appreciate your presence at the funeral home. I'll be there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. We will definitely keep Councilwoman in all of our prayers. That is absolute tragic loss for their family.
Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Hayes?
Madam Chair, in my behalf and Commissioner Anderson, I'd like to add Bertha Mayfield, the wife of Mac Mayfield. Mac worked in the city of Westland and went through the rank till he retired as a public service director in the city of Westland, and raised an excellent family. His son ended up to be the public service director too at once. So I have the honor to meet Mac and his wife. They was very good friend, good citizen in the community. He tried to help me with my golf game, but it was a hopeless effort. Sincerely, I send my sympathy, and I hope you all keep Mac and his family in your prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Additional, Commissioner Anderson.
I just wanted to take a moment just to recognize, even though he is on the list already on number 9, Michael Bobby that passed away. He has 3 sons, all 3 are police officers, 2 of them in Westland, I believe 1 in Dearborn Heights, I believe, and just a great person, and he had a long illness, but just wanted to recognize what kind of family they raised. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, if everyone in the chambers could please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you could return to new business on the addenda.
We are moving to the addenda, item number 4 under new business, a communication from Wayne County Commissioner Diane Webb submitting her resignation as Commissioner of the 8th District effective 11:59 p.m., February 6, 2020.
Commissioner Webb, if you could please join me at the podium. And as she walks to the podium, this is a bittersweet moment for her and for us. Bitter because she's leaving the commission after 10 years of service to her community. 11 years, sorry. And sweet news for Redford, as they are going to gain a wonderful, dedicated public servant in the realm of a new Redford supervisor. So let's give Commissioner Diane Webb a round of applause. As we say goodbye, we could not say goodbye without recognizing her in this beautiful resolution with pictures and all of the whereases. As you know, if you've known Commissioner Webb, she's been extremely dedicated to seniors in her district through her Make a Senior Smile annual program with veterans, with her veteran service organizations that she does every year with our vets. She's been here for 11 years from her baby was like, I think he was, what, 10 years old? 7 years old, and now he's 18 through high school. So it's interesting when you see your children rise through your tenure on the county commission, as I look like I will be doing. So, but I have this beautiful plaque signed by all of our commissioners for you, as well as beautiful flowers. So you can remember us in the service to Wayne County. So I'll turn the microphone over to you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry. I stink at this stuff. I always cry. Anyways, I had prepared remarks. Do you want me to do them now, or do you want me to do them later? Now? I have to get them.
Okay. Yeah. As she gets her prepared remarks. I'll just stand here like this. I'll be Vanna White.
That's a good one.
Jeez, I forgot my glasses. So good thing I made it in big giant print. No, that's okay. Okay. Well, I want to say thank you so much, Madam Chair, and all of you for this beautiful proclamation. I had no idea this was coming, so I'm completely caught off guard. Actually, I thought the 31st floor would be having a going away party for me and not inviting me. That's what I was expecting. But anyway, So, but I want to say to all of you, I did prepare some brief remarks, and I know that's funny coming from me, but it's been an interesting run since I joined this distinguished body in 2009. I'm not going to go down memory lane with the highlights or the lowlights. I just want to thank our commission staff for your support and assistance over the years. As our professionals, you do your best to provide us information and at times opinions and recommendations, which I've tried to give great weight to on important and sometimes controversial issues. I hope your voices will be heard going forward. I also want to thank members of the administrative staff, past and present, that have assisted my staff and I in addressing the needs of my constituents throughout my tenures. You know who you are, and I appreciate you. I especially want to thank my colleagues, also past and present, and rather than making individual comments now, I prefer to do that personally and privately. But I will leave you with one observation and recommendation. This legislative body is an equal branch of county government with the executive branch. We are entrusted by the citizens of the county to act as the checks and balances to the exercise of executive power. There are times when that power must be challenged and imposed. I don't question the intention of any of my colleagues. I only hope that you will keep in mind as you debate and vote on these important issues as they arise and go forward. It has not always been easy, but this experience has been very meaningful to me, and I have tried to represent the citizens of my district as the best that I could. For all your courtesies, I am truly thankful. For any perceived offenses, please know that none were intentional. All of us are strong, passionate personalities that feel strongly and deeply about serving our districts. We just have different ways of going about it. I leave here learning something from each of you, and these are lessons that I'm certain that will serve me well as I move forward in the next chapter of my career in public service, and for that I thank all of you. I want to thank my incredible staff, past and present. Lisa Childs, Jay Lee Lynch have been with me since day one, and there simply aren't words to express the appreciation for their commitment and dedication, not only to me, but the constituents we serve. I also was extremely fortunate to have a legend of a man on my team for 8 years, Mr. Ron Kroc-Malney, who worked for me from the day I started to the day he passed from this life. I learned so much from him. He was my work dad. I knew this wasn't going to go good. I knew I wasn't going to be able to talk to him about him and get through it, but his words and his lessons will be with me always. So thank you. Mr. Bill McSween was another great man that worked for me for 8 years and taught me so much and continues to be my dear friend and supporter, so much so that he came to the township board meeting as a former department head and sat by my side the night that they voted on my appointment. Thanks to Jay Johnson, who stepped up when Bill retired and did a great job. For district reps, my current district reps, Bob Miller and John Zadakian, who do an outstanding job in both Redford and Dearborn Heights and my small part of Livonia. My successor is very fortunate to have my team of heavy hitters, and this commission and the residents of the 8th District are so fortunate to have him. I want to thank the residents of the 8th District and the former 9th District that gave me the opportunity to serve them in this capacity for the last 11 years. It has been an incredible honor that they put their trust in me for the past 6 elections. All I can say is that I did my very best to serve them as I would want my commissioner to serve me, and thank them all for their friendship and support. I want to thank labor for always having my back. I wouldn't have made it here without their support, and I will always stand tall for the working men and women of this country and their values. And finally, I want to thank my awesome parents, and they're not here today because parking is just too ridiculous, and they're in their 80s, and I don't want to put them through it. But they filled my heart with love. They gave me what I needed to serve others and the courage to fight for what I believe in. And so I know that I'm a kind of person that you love or you hate. I ruffle some feathers, I know that. But I believe that it's so important to take the voice that other people give you and use it to represent them as you would want to be represented. So my life in public service is dedicated to them, and that passion for it comes from the parents that raised me with that. So I want to thank them. In closing, I am proud of what I have accomplished for my district. I look forward to working for the citizens of Redford Township to the best of my ability, and I wish you all a farewell, and I wish you all the best for you and your families for years to come. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you all. Thank you. Okay. Oh, you're going to have pictures of Nancy?
Thank you. At this time, do the formality of it all. Is there a motion to receive and file item number 4?
Support.
Please vote.
I can't get to this computer's in my way. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I neglected to say any discussion before I said please vote.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Any discussion? Moving on to item number 5.
Item number 5 is a resolution appointing Mr. David M. Knizik Jr. as Wayne County Commissioner of the 8th District effective February 7, 2020.
Commissioner Webb?
Thank you. It is a great honor for me. I tell you, when I was told that I was going to get this position, the one and only name that came to my mind was Senator David Knizik. He is a huge champion for people. He's completely dedicated and hardworking. He eats, sleeps, and breathes public service. He is a former Iraq veteran Marine. He is a University of Michigan graduate. Sorry. Sorry to Joey. But yeah, but Joey's a big Michigan State fan, David. But anyways, he's just, he was the former state rep and state senator in my district. He has represented all 3 of the communities at the state level that I currently represent on the county commission. So, and they are absolutely delighted that he is the candidate to replace me in this position. And I would appreciate all of your support for his approval today as my replacement. And I know he'll do a great job carrying the torch for the people of the 8th District. So thank you.
Move approval.
Okay, very good. You want to go to your seat so you can vote?
Hey, David is in the audience. David, could you please stand up? I think everybody knows you, but yeah, if you could give him a great welcome, I would appreciate that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. There's been a motion to accept Mr. David Knizik as the appointment for the Commissioner for the 8th District. It's been moved and supported. Please vote.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Welcome, David. Would you like to say a word? Senator, you may certainly say a word if you'd like. Hit the button on the bottom.
I'll learn.
There you go.
Is that good?
That's good.
I'll be very quick, Madam Chair. You know, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today. More than anything, I want to thank Commissioner Webb for the trust that you've placed in me. You know, it's often been said that some people go their entire lives wondering if they've made a difference. And as you leave your role here on the commission, I hope you know the incredible difference that you've made in the lives of people in Redford Township, Dearborn Heights, Livonia, Garden City, your hometown. I could not have been more proud to have you as my commissioner these last 11 years. And I know that, I won't say I've got big shoes to fill, I don't want to get slapped, but you've got a great reputation in our district, and I look forward to working hard to live up to the reputation and the standard of service that you've set for all of us. So to my future colleagues, I look forward to working with you. I look forward to working on behalf of this great county, and I thank you for your time today, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Look forward to working with you. All right, and we did vote, correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next item, please.
We'll return to page 14 of the agenda, reconsiderations.
There are none. Next item.
Remarks by members.
Remarks by members. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to congratulate Commissioner Webb on her appointment, or I guess it would be appointment in Redford, and thank her for her time here. I know we've done that as a group, but we had a great relationship, and I think many times passion is not as misunderstood for an issue, and I'm in that same boat. I become very passionate about certain issues, and it's all about public service, though. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware.
Thank you. So Diane, of course, I wish you well, and I just want to thank you for your service here on the Wayne County Commission. I know sometimes you become a little emotional, but that's okay. Because that means that you only care about your constituents. I also want to make mention that yesterday I joined the Wayne County Exec along with our Director of Senior Services, Lisa Whitmore Davis. She came up with this creative ideal. We was at Wayne State in Wayne County Commission District 2 with the Health and Science Department, right, Lisa? But because we have so many senior citizens that receive Meals on Wheels and other, some of them don't have contact with people, she actually had us sitting at the table making hearts. So they will receive a homemade heart from us, wishing them happy Valentine's Day, and I thought that that was very nice. So thank you again, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Dobb.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Congratulations, Diane. I wish you well. And also welcome to David, our new commissioner. I do just want to make kind of a public service announcement. I had a conversation with one of my local clerks, Jerry Vorva of Plymouth Township, regarding the absentee ballots that are being sent out for the presidential election in March. And I'm sure many of us have seen them. They look like this. He told me that he's getting them back from people who are sending them back to the clerk's office without a box being checked. So if you can spread the word that people who are filling these out, they need to choose one ballot, either the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, or a ballot without a presidential party. A presidential primary. If there's a tax issue in your community, which for Wayne County, we'll all have the DIA millage renewal on our ballot. So if you don't want to vote for a presidential candidate, you can just get a ballot with that tax proposal. That would be that third option. But you have to choose one of them. So Jerry told me that he thinks that some people don't want to tell the clerk who they want to vote for or identify a party, and they're trying to be sneaky, but you have to choose one. And you have to fill out the entire application, so follow the directions. If you have any questions, please contact your local clerk. And so if everyone can just, spread the word on your social media or newsletters or just, in person, it's very important that we get that information out. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I'll ask that if Jim could get a write-up that we can all spread and have in our newsletters and have as talking points when we go to the community, that'd be great. Thank you.
And on that point?
On that point, Commissioner Irma Clark-Coleman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have been getting phone calls from people who received their ballot. And there's confusion because there are people who have dropped out of the race are still on that ballot. Right. And there's a concern that people, this is on the Democratic ballot, that people will vote for or waste their vote for someone who's already pulled out. So when you were informing, if you're informing people about how to vote, and I don't know if that could be happen with our newsletters, not how to vote, but to inform them that
to vote for the candidates who are currently in the race.
Out.
Proper. We can't talk about that either?
Through the chair, we have to be very careful about what type of election information we put out in our newsletter, even discussing here, general information is okay. Getting into specific parties and telling people not to vote for certain, we can have a discussion about what is appropriate or not, but I just want to caution everyone with regards to
I think the point
our
is
comments and-
to tell people,
Yeah.
inform them of the persons who are actual candidates, no matter what party they are.
Absolutely.
To do the people who, okay, thank you.
And that's primarily some information that you can pass out as you attend your community meetings.
Right.
That's what I was primarily talking about, that as you go out and attend your community meetings, those are the kinds of
Inform
things that
them
you
of the-
might want to mention.
Gotcha. Thank you, that's important. I got that entirely. Thank you. Commissioner Marecki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Diane, I wish you well. Redford's lucky to have you because you'll be a real beacon of force with them. I mean, it'll be great. So, and I mean that in a good way. So, and Melissa, great for bringing that up. As a former clerk, every 4 years, that is like a nightmare with those applications. So that's a good thing to bring up. I just want to give a shout out to the DPS department, which I meant to do last time, but through the flooding times they had, through the snow removal, I know a lot of them didn't get a lot of sleep through some of those times. So I want to thank the whole department for doing a great job, and we're just proud of them. I mean, there were no major issues that I heard of, so I just wanted to give them a shout out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank our DPS workers, especially during the wintertime when it's so challenging. Thank you. Commissioner Jesus.
You just turned it off. You just turned it off.
Hit it again. There you go.
Thank you. I wish Diane good endeavor she's going to with municipality, and I think you're going to enjoy that, and we wish you the best. And I want to let you know, as we did agree and disagree many times on some issues, but that was healthy. It was open the discussion on the issue and broaden our knowledge on what we do and how we do it. So you left good impression on all of us. So I hope you enjoy what you do in the next life.
Commissioner Varga, then Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Diane. I wish you well, and good luck with your new endeavor. And thank you for challenging us at times. And I know that a lot of times we wanted to get to the same place, but we're trying to take different routes. But we eventually got there. So, and Madam Chair, I would like to thank you for choosing these wonderful iPads. And also, this is the best little gadget that you provided for us, because those of us with short arms can also vote with it. So thank you.
Multitask. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to congratulate Diane. Now you are really in charge. And you can make some things happen, and I know you will do well. And I thank you for all the advice that you gave me in my first year as a commissioner. Thank you, and much success to you. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Baidoon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Webb, I will simply say congratulations. I wish you the best of luck in the new endeavor. And thank you for recommending a highly qualified public servant to finish your term. You could not have picked a better person, in my opinion. I have known David Kanizik for many years. He is honest, ethical, and has great work ethics. He will be a great addition to our commission. David, welcome to our Wayne County Commission. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Any additional comments? Commissioner Irma Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Diane, congratulations. We've not always seen eye to eye, but I can say that Redford Township, they're fortunate because they will have a person who is detail-oriented and who's a real, a person who understands technology as well as audit. So you will be a great asset to Redford Township. So I wish you well. And to David Kniezek, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Diane, I wish you well. Guess we followed in some of the same footsteps. But let me tell you, when you're at, you will see people coming from all kinds of ways because you're close to them. So it'll be a little bit different than as a commissioner, although you have been close to your people, but they'll be at your doorsteps now. But good luck. I know you'll be able to handle it. So God bless you and move on.
Commissioner Basham, then Vice Chair Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just picking up on the comments that Commissioner Coleman made about her and Diane not always seeing eye to eye. The reason for that is Diane is taller. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I know. Vice Chair Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to wish you nothing but success, Superintendent. I think the dream and goal of every public servant is to not only represent your constituents well, but to also go out on your own terms and move on to the next chapter of your life. You've met and exceeded both of those goals. Your district has been very well represented by you for the last 11 years. Redford Township is extremely fortunate to have you and your talents and your passion for public service. I wish you the best. A couple other things. I also want to thank our former colleague, Commissioner Shannon Price, for his service and passion for serving the Port Authority. He cares a great deal about it. I don't believe he's here today, but I know he has a few friends in the room, and I hope before I see him personally, you share that with him. I thank him for his service. And lastly, to Commissioner Anderson, who celebrates a birthday on Saturday, I hope to be in one of your favorite places on earth on Saturday in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I hope to bring you back a nice present wrapped in a green and white bow.
Thank you, Commissioner Palomero.
To that point, thank you, Commissioner Palomero. Actually, we have more in common than you would think about that. My son graduated from Michigan State University, so that we're green and white at our household.
Very good. Let me just finally say again, thank you, Commissioner Webb, for your service. Thank you for what you've done here at the County Commission, what you've done in Redford, Dearborn Heights, and Livonia. Your district is so happy and proud to have you serving them. You were absolutely the public servant that they needed at the time. And Redford is going to be even more fortunate to have you as their supervisor. It's going, it's like an end of an era, having you here, for especially as long as you've been here, is going to be different. And David, you do have big shoes to fill because, again, Commissioner Webb was a one of a kind, and she was so dedicated and so passionate about being a public servant. She did not take it lightly. She did not take it for granted, and she was so dedicated to the people that she served. So thank you for your service, Diane. You will be missed, sorely missed. And David, we look forward to working with you. And I just want to say again, give her a round of applause for her 11 years of service on the Wayne County Commission. Yes. And we know where you are, so we have any problems, we know where to go. So with that being said, two things, after we adjourn, we're going to take two pictures, one with all of us in our red, and we'll take one with Diane in her proclamation. So is there a motion to adjourn? I'm sorry. Yes, David, of course, David will get in the picture as well. Come on up, Dave. So motion to adjourn? Ray gonna be in the back. It's been moved and supported. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
You make the motion.
Okay. Ray's out wearing blue. Come on, Ray, get in the picture, stay in the back.
Thank you. I'm a hot mess. Thank you, Commissioner.
You're gonna make me cry again. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for your comments.